Why does fear paralyze some people while others move through it? This one ability is what separates those who aspire from those who achieve. Fear, like everything else, is figureoutable. Hey queens! Yeah, you know who you are. God, come on. Go ahead and put that crown on your head. Now tilt a little to the left. Now a little to the right. Perfect. Now let's get to work. Because we know you got big goals. And you got big dreams and not afraid to let them know. Why? Because you step into your purpose. You speak out on your faith. And you shift up in your journey. Because you a boss. Welcome to the podcast Drop the Expiring Act with your host Belly of QueenBayGoals.com. Reminding you that you are a queen before anything else. It's your life and your goals. Make it royal. Alright, y'all. Go ahead and work that crown. Hey Queen Bays, welcome to another episode of the Drop the Expiring Act podcast. So if you have not figured it out by that intro, the book that we are talking about this week is Marie Forleo's Everything is Figureoutable. So if you're new to the podcast, hey, I'm Belly. This is the book review episode because at the end of the month, we always try to do a book review. So here you go. So if you've not read Marie Forleo's Everything is Figureoutable yet, definitely grab a copy. Now, I will say, if you're not into like self-help books, it might not be for you. But if you are a fan of Marie TV or Marie's podcast or anything related to Marie Forleo, you should definitely check the book out. Now, I'm going to say this because it's how I felt when I started to read the book, and I always give you guys my honest review. When I started reading the book, especially chapter 1, I was like, okay, I'm done. Like, I don't want to read anymore if this is what it's going to be about. Because I thought that it was basically going to be like all the Marie Forleo episodes wrapped up into a book. But it wasn't. Because in chapter 1, she talks about, the Tropicana orange radio that her mom has. And if you are a fan or you follow Marie Forleo, you know that story. Like, she has said that, like, ad nauseum on her podcast, on her Marie TV, like, everywhere. So when I started reading that, I'm like, oh, not the damn radio story again. But I was pleasantly surprised when I got to chapter 2. It wasn't like a repeat of everything else that she's already done. So, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. When I started to read the first chapter, I was like, nah, this isn't for me. But as I got into the book, I started to love it. And like I said again, if you're not like a self-help person or you like self-help books, this isn't a book for you. What I love in the book is that, she shares stories from people outside of herself, right? She shares her own stories, but then she shares stories from people who have used like the everything is figureoutable philosophy in their real lives. So I love that. I also love that she has like these, what is it called? Insight to action challenges at the end of the episodes that gives you actual actionable steps that you can take away while you're reading the book. So if you if you listen to my podcast on Successful Women Think Differently, that's the reason why I love that book too, right? Because at the end of the chapters, they actually gave you like actionable things that you can take away and you can start practicing the things that you were reading in real life. So I love books that do that. So she does that in her Insight to Action challenges at the end of the chapters, which I love. She talks about, in the book, she talks about fear. She talks about mindset. She talks about dreams. She talks about if you follow Marie, she always says, start before you're ready. Like there's a whole chapter dedicated to that start before you're ready concept. But again, the name of the book and the overall theme is Everything is Figureoutable. And it doesn't mean that everything is figureoutable. Doesn't mean that, you're just going to figure it out and it's going to be great, right? Sometimes it means that, you figure out what your own limitations are and you might have to pivot. Like the solution that you think is a solution may not be it, but there is a solution. It just might not be the one that you are going after or the one that you were thinking it was going to be. Everything is figureoutable. It's kind of like, navigating, I guess I would say navigating, what your situation is and how you can get to a solution that is beneficial to you while paying attention to all the other things that are around you. And she tells in some of the stories that you read in the book, you'll understand what I'm saying. One of the stories was, about somebody who was with someone who had like a terminal diagnosis, right? And they couldn't change that. But what they could do is change how they approach the situation, right? How they approach life from that moment forward. Like they couldn't change what the outcome was going to be, but they could change what happened to them throughout the days that were leading up to that. Like they could change their experience versus, trying to change the outcome, right? Because some people, if you're with somebody who has like a terminal ailment, and some people just want to push and push and push, like they're going to go over here and try all of these clinical trials, or they want to go over here and try all these experimental stuff. And you're spending all that time or wasting all that time, like trying to find like the magic cure, when you can actually just spend the time like loving on that person, right? Spending time with that person, creating experiences with that person, because you know what's going to come at the end, versus, having them to go through the torment of, therapies and trials and all that other stuff that comes with that. And you're basically like draining their lives to try and save them, but the outcome is the outcome, right? So it's just about changing the situations that you have and the results that you're going to get by, controlling the things that you can control, basically. So if you were thinking about reading Marie Forleo's Everything is Figureoutable, if you're a fan, you definitely should. If you're into self-help books, you definitely should. If you're into books that actually give you actionable tasks that you can actually complete while you're reading the book, you definitely should. But if you're not into that stuff, then this might not be the book for you. I also want to give you the real, like I don't want to just go out there and tell you go buy a book just because I've read it, I want to give you the real for when you're going to pick up the book. Like I said, in the beginning of the book, if you're a Marie Forleo fan and you start reading like the Tropicana story and you're like, geez, I've heard this story like a million times, it gets better after chapter 1. It definitely gets better after chapter 1. So just so you know. So I'll close out this podcast with the simple quote, which is also the book name, Everything is Figureoutable. And here's my twist on the quote. Everything is figureoutable, but always start with a plan. Everything is figureoutable, but always start with a plan. All right, you guys. So I'll give you another excerpt from the book as we close out this week's book review. There are two kinds of people in the world, those with reasons and those with results. If you want, you can keep all your reasons, i.e. excuses why you can't make change happen. When you can't figure things out, you can hang on to all your reasons, your age, your parents, your genetics, your health, where you were born ad nauseum. No one is going to come and take those reasons away. You have every right to think and believe whatever you want. But if you do hold on to the reasons why you can't know this, you'll never experience the depth of your love, your gifts, your strength, your creativity, and your highest potential. Neither will the world. You have been listening to another episode of Drop the Aspiring Act. If you're looking for more information on this podcast and other episodes, please visit queenbaegoals.com. That's QueenBaeGoals.com. All right, y'all. I'll see you in the next podcast.